Coming at you live, live here across Zoom this time. We are not in person. We are not in the same room for the first time ever. We are doing SOFE remotely. Season over, fire everyone. How is everyone tonight? Hopefully you have power because not everyone does. It's a nasty, nasty, nasty weather day. But I'm in tropical paradise here on my yacht here in Hawaii, as you can see behind me.
Okay.
Thanks for the invite.
I know.
Next time, next time. We got Sir Slorbag in the house. We got OG also in the house. We tried to get Doc in the house remotely, but he's busy choking people out down in SoCal. So we're gonna we're gonna be a trio
He's busy
tonight.
choking his chicken. That's about it. Come on, John. You want some of this?
Oh man. Well, in any event, whoever's getting choked tonight, we're not getting graced with his presence, unfortunately. So, but we're gonna still put on a good show. We're gonna get into Super Bowl coming up, number 58. 49ers versus Chiefs, of course, in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. We also have Warriors NBA to talk about. Warriors with a tough loss last night in Atlanta, with more road games coming up, which won't be too much easier. And of course, we'll have a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, because my co-hosts here are not baseball fans. They can only tolerate a tiny amount of MLB talk. So that's what we'll save that for the end.
Don't blame it on us. The audience is not a baseball fan. Nobody likes baseball.
That's right. Okay? I don't even hear baseball when I listen to the radio. So
yeah. Honestly, the baseball isn't turning into hockey, okay? It's gonna be at that level pretty soon.
Oh, you say that now, but in just a couple weeks, pitchers and catchers report, and I'm pretty sure we'll feel the baseball fever throughout. Once you hear the popping of the mitt and all that stuff, it's impossible. Impossible not to feel it.
We feel that we can never get a good player signed with the Giants. Yeah. Yeah. We can never catch anybody.
Maybe the gentleman Lee from Korea. Maybe he'll be the next Ichiro type guy. I'm not holding my breath though. I'm not holding my breath. Okay. It's been a tough off season, but last night we had Golden State in Atlanta. Another epic game for Steph Curry. But this one here, unlike his 62-point game from a couple years ago, this 60-point game is in overtime, and it goes to waste in a 141-134 loss to the 22-27 Atlanta Hawks, who've won 4 in a row now. They just had no answer for Clint Capella, the big center inside. As you know, a team without size like this isn't going to have an answer for a guy like that. And once again, Trace Jackson Davis reduced to 8.5 minutes. I think I want to go to OG first with your thoughts, your takeaways from last night's horrible loss to Atlanta.
What I don't understand is, I get Kuminga fouled out. They went for some reason a very, very small lineup in the overtime. So why didn't they play Trace Jackson? He wasn't fouled out. That gives you a little bit of size, because if you watch the overtime, I mean, Klay Thompson sucks. Like, literally, he sucks.
He's not moving well at all.
He's not. He can't stay in front of the guards that he's guarding. He's not shooting well. And at some point, when is he going to just permanently be glued to the bench? I mean, at some point, you got to move him and keep moving him, and he has to earn his way back into any type of minutes. I mean, but the problem is Kerr. Like, for some reason, he goes the shortest lineup I could ever see, with Draymond Green as the tallest person in the team. But yet you had Trace Jackson Davis, who could block shots, who could rebound, who's sitting there. But yet he goes Quinones. I get it. He was having a great game. Then why was Klay still in? He should have been benched. He should have been benched at that overtime, and they should have had at least one big who can at least rebound the ball, and they didn't do that. So
I'm listening on the radio, and I'm wondering the same thing you are.
And this is not the first time Kerr did it. There was a time, I believe it was the Lakers, and they were like down by 1 or 2 points, and he goes the smallest lineup possible. And it's like, how are you gonna play LeBron with like midgets? That makes no sense. I mean, like, he literally doesn't even see him. He just goes right through him and gets a layup. So at some point,
we were all together watching that game live. Yes,
it was the stupidest thing ever.
Right. At some point, for me, not just that game, and I've been calling it out even during their championship years, and you start to see it. Kerr can't coach. He literally cannot coach. He has the worst judgment when it comes to player substitutions. That it boggles your mind why he's still coaching and why he's not fired. It's like at some point, even the world know he can't coach because they gave him excuse my language, an all-star team to go against the world, and what do you do with it? Absolutely nothing. So for me,
you're referring to the Olympics a couple years ago, correct?
that's right.
Yes.
Like, I mean, you got the best of the best in almost every single team, and you lost.
And
Like,
to be fair, and I'm not making an excuse for Kerr. I will say I would like to know what he would have done or what result would have been different in those Olympics had more American players committed. I'm not saying that they still should
he
run through it, but I just
he
like
could
I
have
would like
done
to
what he usually does when he wins championship is get a real coach to be his assistant coach so he can hide his ass behind him. That's what he does. Coach Brown, right? Gentry, all those. At some point, I mean, we got to fire him. We got to fire him. We got to
Yeah, good
let
luck
go
with that.
Clay. Clay has to go. I mean, we're squandering like Curry's like precious how many years of basketball career over what? Over Clay? Like that makes no sense, right? Like he can't even like literally. It's not even Splash Brothers anymore for me. It's just one brother, right? Because Clay is like he's not even a good bench player at this point. Is he really worth 40 mil? Is he really worth 25 or 20? No. To me, he's a 10 mil player.
Sorry to cut you. I was just going to say one thing we do know, and Slorback, you can back me up on this. If Clay did become a bench player anytime soon, especially in this walk year, his attitude would negate any contributions he made on the court.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because he's an immature whore.
Yeah.
Your thoughts from the game last night, Slorback?
I mean, it's same thing as what said. It's just Kerr continuously does things that make you like go, "What the f?" And I mean, we're average basketball fans, and we see it. I don't know how somebody that's gone through has won so many championships gets paid millions of dollars, how he can't see it. Like, yeah, like 2 weeks in a row against the Lakers and again last night. It's like you put in the worst lineup ever. So, and that we saw, no size. Capella they couldn't get a rebound in overtime. Like, how many second chance points did the Hawks get? And then eventually, of course, they're going to start making it. So,
and Kevon Looney only played 14 minutes.
Who?
Kevon Looney only played 14 minutes, along with I mentioned that TJD only had 8.
Yeah, right. Like, and TJD in the 8 minutes he had some good moments. So why don't you put him in? Like, he can jump, he can move. Unlike Clay, like if you look back at last night's game, he got crossed over by I forget who so bad. Oh my god, it was.
I think you're speaking of when Trae Young crossed him over on the right arc and then buried a three in his mouth.
That was Trae Young, but I mean, it was just bad. It's just, and I don't know what occurs.
I also think about it like the trade deadline is coming up, right? Like literally 4 days from now.
Right. They're not doing anything.
If Peyton comes back, if Chris Paul comes back, if Moody comes back, you have no time frame to literally play all these guards. You literally have so many guards. Like at some point, you gotta let some go. I think Podziemski at this point, even as a rookie, has earned minutes, right? Like literally, he could start or he could come off the bench. That's fine. If you're gonna keep Clay, you don't have enough minutes to play Peyton. You don't have enough minutes to play Moody. You don't have enough minutes to play Quinones, who's been playing well. He rebounds well. And at some point, you got to say, okay, we need a big. Like, literally, we need, like, 2 bigs, right? Because it's crazy when Kerr, like, all these teams that are playing now, they're literally bigger than us. Like, there is no team that's smaller than us. And we're getting killed on the boards. We're getting killed on hustle plays. And a lot of it is because they won't budge. Like I don't know what's going on, but either you fire Kerr, you get us a better GM, get us someone who has the balls to actually make moves.
And it's ironic because Larry Riley, all those years ago in early 2012, had the balls to make the move to trade Monte Ellis for a big who wasn't even healthy at the time, but went on to help us directly contribute to a world championship within 3 years. And that was Andrew Bogut, of course. And yet we can't look back on that on our own history and see how crucial that move was to putting us over the top.
Yeah, but if you're gonna look at it that way, then Curry has to make an ultimatum because that's what Monte did, right? And he backfired on him. So unless Curry makes an ultimatum, say, hey, you either I can't play with this person anymore, you either let him go or you trade me. And then that's the only way the Golden State upper management is willing to make a move and make a decision. That's the only way.
Yeah, but we know Curry's not going to do that, which is one of his
No, he's
faults.
not. That's the problem. That's one of his
but like,
biggest problems.
at Sip's point, it's like it starts with Lacob. Like, you're the owner.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have the balls, and I thought he did to like make these tough decisions. So I don't know what happened with him because I thought he would have done it. If you're gonna not extend Kerr, why keep playing him? Like, why keep him now? Just fire him and see what you can do. Because obviously it's not working, and this season's going nowhere with Kerr in this roster. So
I truly think if they never won the last championship, Kerr would have been gone by now.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's the only ticket that's keeping him still here.
I agree because let's look at it all. Let's look at it all together. If the 2022 title doesn't happen, this would be year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row where we would not have a title. And Joe Lacob likes titles, as he's proven. He's demonstrated that. He spent a lot of money to try to make sure that we get that. So I agree with you that Kerr would not have made it through into this season probably had we not won in 2022.
And don't they have the highest payroll in the league? And this is the output.
Yeah, they're like repeating tax offenders, basically.
It's crazy. So,
yeah,
setting records.
I mean,
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the amount of money spent versus the amount of return this team is getting it's completely unacceptable. And I don't want to. And our last show we went off on the Warriors assistant coaching staff, and I'm not about to, because we know they just tragically lost one recently. So I'm not going to sit here and bash the assistant coaches blindly right now, not knowing because we honestly, and we follow the team. I would say we're a little more than average fans. We're not like diehard attend 82 games or 41 games in person, tattoo the logo on our back of our head type fans. But we're pretty close with this team. We know pretty much everything there is to know that the normal fan would know, and then some. So with that being said, and we're still trying to figure out what these assistant coaches contribute to the team, and they just lost one tragically, which is terrible. We would not wish that on anyone, and I'm not saying that that's a good or a good thing for anyone. What I am saying is that you have to evaluate everything at this point. And if that means a total clean out, if that means the whole assistant teams have done it before. What did Jerry Jones do for the Dallas Cowboys as soon as he bought them? Fired Tom Landry after 30 years. People thought he was the second coming of Lucifer when he did it, but within 5 years they had 2 world championships, right? Or actually within 7 they had 3. So Steve Kerr is a great guy by all accounts. Done a lot of great things, but a lot of his success as a coach, and I think we can agree on this, is just from being in the right place at the right time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Like, he's like the luckiest guy in the world. He should buy lotto tickets every week and go gamble. Because he's very lucky. So. And then the worst part is, like, everything I've heard from him recently is like he doesn't want to make a trade, and he thinks that just by getting people back, they're going to go on this magical run. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. We've seen that this roster and this coaching staff is not going to get it done. So the fact, like, to keep it going is stupid and insane.
And that brings us back to OG's point from a few minutes ago. Even if you do that, you have a surplus of guards.
Yeah, too many.
You're still short on big men.
Well, that's why you should be trading them.
Well, I'm just saying, if we were to go along with Steve Kerr, if Steve Kerr's plan came to fruition and they just put together, they kept together the roster they have with everyone healthy, and gave everyone, had everyone available to them, then you have 4 guards again who aren't playing, no matter what.
Exactly. So it's useless. You're wasting everybody's time.
Yep.
And it really sucked because Moses Moody was playing so well before he got the calf injury.
He doesn't trust Moody. That's the problem. He doesn't play him right. He never has. And the only time he did it was he got called out because he made those shots and then he took them out. And that's the only time he got called out for it. And after that, since he got called out, he played him. Same with Kuminga. Had a great game, didn't play him in the fourth quarter, got called out. Now he's playing him. And I don't think, right, it's trust issues. Kerr has trust issues.
And it sounds like, because we know the Splash Brothers aren't going to challenge him publicly. We know Draymond may have wanted to fight him that day in Oklahoma City, but as far as challenging him publicly, I've never heard him say anything that would suggest that, other than when he was talking on this podcast about the time he got suspended and he laughed at Bob Myers or whatever. But
right.
If they were going to challenge Steve Kerr, any of the big three, as we call them, I think it would have happened by now. Because if, like we said earlier, if we see what's going on and what's needed, and some of this falls on Dunleavy too for not having the courage to go above Kerr's head and do what needs to be done for this team. Now, great, there's still time before the deadline, but I'm with Slorbag. What's going to happen?
Nothing. They've already
Nothing.
basically
This season's gonna
he basically said,
gonna end the way
this roster's so good, and when everybody's healthy, we're gonna go on a magical run like Cinderella.
Nope.
Well, it's not gonna happen. Your time is done. The clock has struck 12, and you're turned into a dead, moldy pumpkin.
Yeah, those dead pumpkins are horrible. Yeah.
Whatever, nasty, moldy pumpkin. Like, the magic's gone. It's time to move on.
And it's not a bad thing. It's change does not have to be. What did Chris Mullins say? We'll go back to that night that Monte Ellis was traded. What did Chris Mullins say when everyone was booing Joe Lacob and booing the whole event where Chris Mullins' number was being retired after the Monte Ellis trade for Bogut? What did Mullins say? Change is not always a bad thing. Change is necessary.
Well,
those aren't the exact words he used, but it was along those lines.
It really depends on what change you're talking about, because outside of basketball, like what we said, right? Lacob is losing a lot of money, right?
A lot.
The same token, when he bought this franchise was worth less than $1 billion.
It was 450.
Right. And now it's worth how much?
And probably at least 5 times that.
It's about $6 billion right now.
Which would be more than 5.
That's right.
Man.
It's basically
so
12.
Right. And then a part of that is because this team that he built, right? Like the Curry, the Thompsons, the Greens, and a part of it was Durant. So at some point they're gonna have to worry about that, because as you are gonna have to rebuild, there's a chance that $6 billion is gonna go back down. So there's a lot of money lost along the way as well. That's why they're so picky on who they're moving and who are not. Because the name still sells. Curry's name still sells, but winning for us who are really big fans of the game and them trying to get to the playoffs, it sucks. So,
but I mean, but like you said, Curry sells. Curry's still a top player, like one of the greats in the basketball, and it's just it's just sad to see all these great performances and these years go, because at this rate they're just wasting his years.
They are. So
like,
I don't know.
He has, if you put the right roster around him, they can easily win 1 or 2 more.
Right.
This is the Season Over Fire Everyone sports show. We're going to do a approximately 40-minute show tonight because Zoom charges you for more than that, and I'm not willing to pay more than that. We're going to cover Super Bowl, of course, coming up next week. A little bit more basketball talk before we transition to that. And I want to ask, this was a opinion that was put out there on different sources. I don't keep track of each one of them, but basically the topic was, from an NBA standpoint, the spate of high scoring games we've been seeing. Curry's 60-point game is just the latest one we've had. We saw Luka Doncic had a 73-point game the other day. Joel Embiid had a 70-point game the other day. And I was reading there's been something like the amount of 60-point games that we've had in the last 4 seasons or something like that matches all in the NBA history combined, something along those lines. And people are spinning this in a way that this is a bad thing for the product, the NBA as a whole. And Slorbag, what are your thoughts on the high rise of single game explosions, big scoring games by individual players?
I mean, I don't think it's bad. This is what they wanted, right? They wanted a high scoring league.
Yep.
That's a headline, right? You hear about 70 points, 60 points. That's headlines. That's what the league wants. That's what the rules are set up for. Similar to football, right? It's defense is always going to be
Yep.
behind now because of the rules. So I enjoy watching these crazy games. Like it's fun. So um I know it's very different than the old school days where it was just, more defense, and obviously the offense has changed a lot. And Curry's partly to blame now, because now all
Mhm.
these guys shoot threes and that helps the scoring, right? So it's just the evolution of the game, and you can't put it back now, so it's here to stay.
You
And
can't put that toothpaste back in the tube.
right,
I've tried.
you've opened Pandora's box. Personally, I enjoy it, so I enjoy seeing Curry go for that much. I mean, it's not like there's no defense. It's just some of these players are really highly skilled, and with some help with the rules.
By the way, you can put toothpaste back in tube. What you have to do is use another tube. You just put
No,
them side by side, almost like
that
you're
does
chucking.
not work. That's not how this works. Okay.
OG, your thoughts on the big scoring games we've seen this season and
I,
recently?
I agree that, I don't watch basketball for him to keep on clanking back and forth. I watch it for the scoring, right? I want the big scores. Like, think about it. Like, Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points still is in existence, but we still remember it, right?
Hmm.
I don't think we, as a fan, remember games where, like, oh my god, they played so much defense, they only scored 50 points each, right? So for me, I watch basketball because I like the offense. I like him running back and forth. I like the shooting. I like the scoring. We love that. That's the reason why the All Stars is there, right? It's not for them to play defense, have a lower scoring game. It's to see all these stars scoring a lot of points. The same token, like the game now compared to the game before, it changed a lot, right? Like what you said, Curry changed a lot of what the game is, because instead of the dunking, the down low post, and the year when it's all big man, it's now a lot of like wing players, a lot of guards who shoots a lot of threes. And you look at the people that are scoring, they're not just your regular run the mill players. They're literally like MVP players, right? Like Embiid went for 70. Doncic is like the next LeBron. He went for 73. And you look
Right.
at their stats, those are not just 3 point stats. Those are like 2 points, free throws. So it's not like it's it's efficient game where they're shooting at a very, very high clip where they're making their shots. And for me, that's what makes it exciting. That's what has revolutionized the NBA in terms of where it was before to where it is now, that we can enjoy it more. Like, I like the scoring. I don't like the lopsided games, but I do like the scoring. And I like it where they're scoring 40 to 50, because even though it may be a lot, it's still pretty rare. And at one day, I do want someone to break the 100 point record, right?
I do
And
too.
they're getting close. When and Kobe went for 80 something points, right?
Mm.
That it's, you remember that stuff.
Mhm.
And for me, that's why I watch the NBA. If I want to watch defense, then I'll go watch football, because that's what it is. Like, low scoring games are soccer. They're low scoring, and it's all about more defense than scoring. So
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
glad you clarified that, OG, because I was going to say the other football, the one with the goal and the black and white ball.
yeah,
that's
A lot of,
football, get it right.
football.
But I mean, yeah, like even last night's game, right? Like basically
Yeah,
Curry and Trey Young were trading like 3 pointers at
yeah,
baskets,
oh
and like
yeah,
they were going off, and
yeah.
that's
yeah.
awesome. Like, because
Yep.
it's not easy shots. It's like
It's
those
not, and
are
it
crazy.
brings the thrill in the game. Like, you root really hard for like your team, and then to see it backfire and the other team score is like, oh, and that's like the highs and lows. It's great. It's great for the fans, great for the league, and that's why it's. I think if you think about NBA before to where it is now, it's better. They're more. The marketing is better. The production of what they do in the game to game. It's for me. It gives you what you want in terms of a fan.
My thoughts
Now,
on it is go ahead, Slowback.
no, go finish your thought.
I was just going to say I agree basically with everything both of you have said. Just my whole take on it. I don't mind a guy going gunning for a high point total if he's playing within his team's game, if he's hot and they're not force feeding him just for the sole purpose, as they kind of did during Kobe's 81 point game. If you watch that game, he was sort of being force fed toward the end, and that's what's going to happen. I guess your teammates want to see you make history or whatnot. I have this thing on the screen here. Let me close it real quick. But yeah, I agree with both of you. So we have 10 minutes left in the show. We're going to transition now to Super Bowl Sunday, which is 1 week from today, which is in Las Vegas. And Slorbag and I, we're a little different as human beings, and we're a little different as sports fans. We've been boys for 30 years, but we don't necessarily express ourselves the same way. I was going to have prepared for you, the audience, clips from us being played on our local radio station, celebrating and going nuts over the Lions' defeat last week because we are 49ers fans. I did not have a chance to dial that up, but just know that we are pumped. We are going to kick some Royal Chief butt next week, and we are going to send all those people who are watching up in the booth, Jackson Mahomes, dirtbag, Brittany Mahomes, and Taylor Kelsey, or whatever hell her name is, on out of town, slinking back out of Vegas, back to Kansas City, or wherever they came from, with tears coming down their face. Who agrees with me?
Yes, down with the damn Chiefs. I mean, I don't care about all the other stuff. I just care about beating Patrick Mahomes. He's a great quarterback, but it's time for him to go down. It's revenge time. The Niners have the team. They can do it as long as the defense shows up. So
that's right.
I'm excited.
This is their revenge game from the last time they made the Super Bowl. Yes. And I think their chances now compared to before is way better because Kansas City doesn't have a real receiving core, if you think about it. Like, literally, they have nobody outside of Kelsey. But
they got a bunch
if you're going to beat Kansas City,
guys.
Right, this is the time to do it. So
right.
I mean, like, it is. Like, sure, your defense may not be – well, it's definitely not as good as it was in 2019 or the 2019-2020 season, even though it should be, but that's a whole nother topic. But, like, the good thing is now we have an offense that can score. Like, we can come back even if we're down. I mean, I don't want to be down. I mean, we definitely they need to start out fast and keep the pedal to the metal. Don't even give them a chance. And the offense can do that, right? We have the weapons. We have the quarterback. So, like, do great drives, keep Mahomes out the field, and hopefully the defense finds out, figures something out. Because the last two playoff games, they've sucked until the end, and then they figure it out. But you can, like, I would be worried if we're down 17 points to Kansas City in the Super Bowl. It won't be as easy to come back as it was against the Lions and the Packers.
What gives me hope and what gives me confidence, as bad as the defense has played at times recently, it's been pretty much a first half issue. All season long, the Niners have cleaned it up in the second half for the most part, with exceptions, of course, in the 3-game losing streak we had around October. I believe that they're going to pull it out. I'm going to give a prediction here. I predict the game is going to be 30-24 in favor of the Niners. OG, what do you think?
33-27 Niners is what I have.
Let me write this down, by the way. I said 30-24. OG said 33-27, you said?
Yep.
Okay, and Slorbag, your prediction.
It's going to be a blowout. Give me 45-20.
Woohoo!
Wow.
I think this is my hope that they've learned from the last two playoff games, and they're like, we're not going to wait till the second half to freaking wake up. We're going to come out. Defense is going to be on fire. They got called out. Defense got called out this week by Shanahan, Lynch, their DC, because they did suck in the first half. Like they didn't even want to tackle. It's like they didn't even want to be there.
It was
they
an
were
effort
at home,
issue,
home playoff games, and you're starting off slow. So I think they're going to start off much better, and then as long as the offense does what they do and the defense wakes up early, Kansas City can't keep up.
Do you think for Kansas City the Kadarius Toney situation is going to be a distraction? Is he hurt? Is he not hurt?
No, it's not a distraction. He can't catch the ball, so for them, it's a plus for Kansas City to not have him in the field because he can't even line up right. So, and he can't catch. So.
Oh man, that's a good point there. Good point. Well, he is an addition by subtraction, I believe, on the field. It's just that can his behavior? Well, Andy Reid will just send him home. He sent Terrell Owens home once upon a time, right? He'll
Yeah.
just send him home.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's useless.
sent T.O. home for like half a season.
Like, you know what? The game plan on the offensive side should be right. Started off McCaffrey, Debo, right? Running McCaffrey, the sweeps of Debo, which worked last time until you right, the jet sweeps, test them out early. If that's not working, then short passes to, get the linebackers out and then start running again. It's simple football. We have
I just think that will stop all the blitz that Kansas City does if they do it that way, and it's perfect in terms of a game plan because Kansas City likes to blitz. So you want to neutralize all that blitzes, you run all those sweeps. Yeah. But don't stop it though. You can't do it for one half and then the next half you go back to your pass. That's how they lost the last Super Bowl. Just run the sweeps. They can never stop it and keep running it down their throat.
Yeah.
You have the manpower. You have CMC. And it's not like Mitchell's a joke of a running back. He's still good. So he's healthy. So
CMC's healthy, Debo's healthy-ish.
Yep.
Brandon Ayuk's healthy, Kittle's healthy. Like you have the weapons to like really take it to them. Yeah, see it like the trade for CMC is a game changer, and obviously Purdy's way better than Jimmy G. He's not gonna. He can do a lot. So, there's no reason for the Niners to lose this game. And if they do lose, then I don't know how the hell we ever win a Super Bowl again.
We're gonna riot. We're gonna riot.
I just don't know what else they can do other than bringing back like Jerry Rice and maybe Deion Sanders as a DB. But
no, what you do is you don't touch the offense and you get a new defensive coordinator and you fix that defense that they have. You pay basically to get a true defense is what you do.
Yeah. Or you have Pat Mahomes kidnapped.
Because isn't that what Steve Young and the Niners did to get over the hump? Because they couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't beat Green Bay. Like no matter what they did in the playoffs, Green Bay always beats them.
Well, it was first Dallas, and then when they beat Dallas using that strategy, and then Green Bay became a problem. Yes.
Yep. And then they basically revamped their defensive core, and then they had all these really good players, and then they won.
We got a minute left, gentlemen. I want to just give a shout out to Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, and Adrian Beltre making it to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I just want to say that if Gary Sheffield, who went down in Balco along with Barry Bonds, got into the Hall of Fame, and he was very close. He was very close to getting in. If he had made it without Bonds having made it, I would have rioted. I would have gone to Cooperstown, and there would have been a lot of urine all over their property, courtesy of me, because I would have drank a number of rock stars on the way there.
Skillz, you could have drawn a picture of Barry Bonds, and then you could have just kind of taped it into Cooperstown yourself.
Just do that.
Then you just say you made it. You made it.
Is he ineligible now, Barry Bonds?
He's now ineligible. His time ran out. He can get in by virtue of one of their special voting ballots that they have every couple of years. But other than that, and that's mostly done by Hall of Famers, most of whom can't stand him, his odds are not great.
Well, all right. Well, R.I.P. to the Hall of Fame for Barry Bonds.
Well, that's why I'm building my own. I'll advertise it in our next show, but we're running out of time now. So I want to thank you, OG, for coming through. We're not going to do our special features we always do. We just don't have the time to do it. Thank you, OG. Thank you, Sir Slorback, for being a part of the show. Thank you, Skillz, for putting the show together. We couldn't have done it without you, the audience watching. It would be pointless. So go Niners, going to the Super Bowl. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.